Atma is full in all respect. Atma has no birth, no death. It is beyond these. Atma means we ourselves, but not the body.
तुम्हाला तुमच्या चरित्राचे चालवण्याकरता अनुदेश करणार नाही.
We are not here to advise you to do your family activities, worldly activities. One who is helping you to make a living is doing it spontaneously. To give an example, for 9 months, in the heat of the womb, when the parents were not knowing the unborn, or the unborn was not knowing its parents, all the things of the unborn were taken care of. The unborn was protected, and in the 10th month, it was safely taken out. Someone who worships the self and realizes the self considers God as the all-doer and all-protector. When I did not know my parents, and they also did not know me, one who did everything for me created this nice body and all the organs. One who did everything for me without my knowing, without my asking. One who created all these comforts without my asking, without my knowledge. I had no ability to know anything, and everything was done by that one. He is my Atma. He is my Guru. He is my God.
अशाच निश्चयवर कोणी एखादा जातो.
Rarely one goes to this level of trust and confidence. One who has such a belief may be one in a lakh. He has these old memories. The time when my parents did not do anything for me. One who gave me this nice form and looked after me and safely brought me when I was weighing about 8 to 9 pounds, brought me out of that place hardly an inch wide. Whose skill is all this? It is that Atma to whom I surrender. I consider that Atma, the self, as my Guru.
त्या गुरुचे बघितलं मी करतो. वाचून ठेवा.
I worship that Guru. If at any time, with full faith in the self, one realizes the self, then all his needs are taken care of as that of the unborn in the womb.
तरी पण त्याने माझे भरणपोषण संरक्षण केले.
Remember this. How is one taken care of? It is like the unborn in the womb.
सुंदर काया निरोगी स्वच्छ.
How nicely it was taken care of. So clean, so beautiful. Anyone would feel like kissing the infant, but this is as long as it is not sufficiently grown. But when the infant grows up and the child develops a mind and start acting accordingly, then no one feels like kissing the child.
बरोबर आहे. तर कोणी एखादा अशा विश्वासाला जातो.
Is it all right? But a rare one develops this confidence that myself is doing everything for me. Myself is feeding me. I have faith in myself. I am formless. I am luminous, Bhagwan. I am getting my fragrance. That is my inner core. Instead of following this course, one follows the mind. The ignorant feel that mind is their guru.
अज्ञानाचं भरणपोषण मन करते. भक्ताचं भरणपोषण तो आत्मा करतो.
The mind feeds and preserves the ignorant, whereas the Atma feeds and preserves the knowledgeable. The knowledgeable means the devotee. Atma means God. Atma means Guru. Atma means the Brahman. The devotee knows that. The devotee is fed and protected like the unborn. Keep this in mind. It is difficult to have such an undying faith. Somebody can have such a faith. We cannot exclude him. What the mind talks or tells you, you should not accept it. My Maya is all powerful. It is feeding and protecting me.
या आठवणी नाही आता मन टिकवेल ते ना करा.
One should live with this remembrance and not follow the mind. These verses are the utterance of God Himself, the pure, spotless, unblemished, the most worthy and venerated.
की मनाच्या म्हणण्याप्रमाणे तुम्ही मानू नका आपल्याला. तुम्ही गुरुच्या वचनाप्रमाणे तुम्ही आपल्याला माना.
Don't consider yourself as what your mind says. Consider yourself as what your Guru says. I am formless, unblemished, pure, spotless. I have no birth and death. If I had them, I would have remembered them, I would have known them. If birth and death were true, I would have had the knowledge of that.
मला त्याचे ज्ञान नाही आहे म्हणून मला जन्म मरण नाही गुरुवाच्या प्रमाण.
I have no knowledge of it. Hence, I have no birth and death. And my Guru's words are a proof for that. A rare one realizes the Guru's words. Hence, whatever mind says, I am not like that. Mind looks at the body and tells you you are a man or a woman. But you are the consciousness. You are pure and subtler than space and also all pervasive.
मन मला देहाच्या रूपाने मानते आहे त्याप्रमाणे मी देहरूप नाही आहे.
I am Atma, the self. Mind is taking me as the body. But I am not the body. I am Atma. You should train your mind like that. Your identity is not what the mind says, but what the Guru says. By rejecting the mind, you transcend the mind. And then you are taken care of by that principle which protects the unborn in the womb. You are taken care of in this way only if you are not guided by your mind. In the womb, you were not guided by your mind. Actually, you had no experience. You had no knowledge of the mind. Mind means your thoughts. These thoughts talk to you, you talk to these thoughts. And you do activities as per these thoughts. Mind means flow of thoughts, is it not? Now keep the word mind aside and let us take the word thought. When the thought says something, whatever is urgent and important and useful, take it and forget the rest. If somebody comes to you at the wrong time, you don't meet him. Similarly, the thoughts which come, they take your time unnecessarily. If the thought complains about somebody, keep the receiver down, disconnect. Don't entertain such thoughts which complain about others. This is the practice of the big people, is it not?
बरोबर आहे ना. रिसिव्हर ठेवून देतात.
Follow this practice. Don't entertain thoughts which are not useful. They go on complaining about the others. Here there is only thought, none else. In the no-mind state, you, self, Guru and Brahman, they are not different things.
एका व्यक्तीला काका मामा दादा किती किती संज्ञा येतात.
The same person is called differently as uncle, brother, etc. The same person is called aunt, mother, etc. Similarly, Atma or self is called by different names, but ultimately it is what we are, our true self. Even the letter I you set aside. And when you do that, what remains is we. We means knowledge or consciousness, not the body. When the consciousness is not, what is the importance of the body? When the consciousness leaves, he is called dead. We see people dying. The vital breath keeps the body alive and makes it active. There is beingness. The vital breath leaves the body. Does it die? No. When the vital breath leaves, the beingness vanishes. It becomes no being. Before that, it was witnessing the vital breath. Who vanished? The consciousness or the sense of being vanished. One who has made these Guru's words one's own has no experience of death. Even the birth, which was once assumed as true, becomes false. Hence, he reaches the conviction that both birth and death are untrue. Hence, don't be totally guided by the mind, but make use of thoughts which are useful. Set aside useless thoughts, and then there will be no thoughts, and hence peace. If any thought tells you that you are the body, tell that thought that you are Atma, the self, formless, without modifications, and pure, and tell that thought to go away.
असं होऊ लागले म्हणजे तिथे जिवंत समाधी.
With this practice, what will result will be living samadhi. Living samadhi means bliss and full contentment. Thus, keeping the mind away results in living samadhi, or the best natural true state. Sages have given it great importance. The mindless state of your true being. Any one of you here is gifted with that pure state which cannot be touched by any blemish. But due to insistence of your mind, you accept the body identity, and because of that, you suffer from pain and conflict.
दुसऱ्याचे दोष गुण आठवतात.
Because you have made mind your guru, you remember good and bad of others and develop hate and anger. You must save yourself from this. Chid Ghana. Chid means consciousness. Ghana means dense. Dense like space. But you will not call space as dense. But space is not broken anywhere. It is all pervading. But Atma is more subtle than space. Atma knows the space, but space doesn't know Atma. You know the space. The knower is consciousness, which is dense. The realized know that consciousness is denser than space.
पातळ आहे, मऊ आणि स्वच्छ आहे.
Consciousness is knowledge, beingness, sense of being, knowledge I am. This is like space, dense, pure, all-pervasive. Atma is finer than space, cleaner, purer. You cannot paint the space. You cannot blacken it. Similarly, the Atman, which is not the mind, which is unlike the mind, is pure, sinless, and very clean. Atma is purer, softer, cleaner than the space. And Atma is our true self.
मी म्हटलं म्हणजे अमाचा काही अर्थ लागतो.
To say I am Atma, the letter I has a lining of ego. If you say we are Atma, if you say we, there is no wrong identification of being a man or a woman there.
मी म्हणल्यामध्ये ते आपण तो घेऊ शकतो.
When you say I, the flaw of being a man or woman can arise. But we means knowledge, means knowingness is shining. The waking, sleep and knowingness altogether is Atma. The appearance of waking, sleep and knowingness is termed as the birth. But as per Guru's words, the self without the mind is formless and nameless, and you give name as you like.
ते रूप. आपण नव्हे देहामध्ये असलेलं ज्ञान आपण आहे.
Now you take yourself as not the body and its form, but the consciousness. If the body and its form you are not, then how are you? Please tell. Will you able to describe it? Always give attention to this. Be like that, and the knowledge worthy of it will shine. The wisdom develops as per the worthiness of a person. His behavior is also according to that. But various attacks on him have become possible because of his body identity. As per the saying of the mind, he considers himself as a man or a woman. But the mind doesn't know the self, it knows only the body.
मन देहापर्यंत देहाला ओळखू शकते, आत्म्याला मन ओळखू शकत नाही.
Remember that the mind knows the body and not the self. Your beingness is Atma or the self, and we cannot call it small or big because it is formless. In case anything has a form, we can call it small or big. But if there is no form at all, how can we call anything small or big?
तर तो आकाशासारखा पातळ आणि विपुल आहे.
It is thin or fine like space and ample or limitless. It is ample, and another word for it is all pervasive. There is no coming and going for it, but because of the identity with the mind, the error of the feeling that it is coming going has happened. Also, because of the bodily identity, birth and death are also associated with it. But all these are concepts of the mind. But for one who knows himself to be different from the mind, all these defects of the mind, like hate, anger, ideas, they don't affect him. Due to oneness with the mind, good and bad things happen. But seeing the mind as different, nothing can happen.
हे मन म्हणतंय तुम्ही आत्मा म्हणत नाही.
I am the body and its form is my form. Mind says this, not the self or Atma. But as the self doesn't know itself, it takes the words of the mind as the truth and experiences unhappiness, and happiness is only a mark. Your worldly experience is unhappiness only, and happiness appears as a mark only.
त्रास त्याला जेवढा मनापासून दुःख होत आहे तेवढा मागापासून सुद्धा होणार नाही.
The pain suffered in loneliness is even more than that experience in a fight with somebody. The mental pain is more. The mind considers self as the body. You remember that you are not as per the mind. I am formless, pure, and spotless. My light judges the clarity of the sun and the moon. It means how holy and pure it is. Who? Atma means we. We say the light is dim. Who judges it? It is our light.
आत्मप्रकाश आहे एवढं स्वच्छ आणखी कुठे काय आहे?
What is there which is purer than the light of the self? Who is going to judge the cleanliness of any object? It is the light of the self. Thus, self is formless, luminous, and pure. The self is cleaner and purer than any light. Remember this and give attention to it. The mind cannot know this. Do all your activities, but at least at the time of going to bed, remember these qualities of the Atma. It is limitless consciousness, all pervasive, holy, and pure. And the most important, that is what we are. Remember the self and its quality, that it is luminous, it is conscious, it is clean and pure and holy.
आणि ते आपण आहे असे आपण आहे असे म्हणून झोपा.
And then that self or Atma we are. Say this and then go to sleep. Saying this, go into deep sleep. At least while going to bed, remember the self. Don't remember the mind. Your mind gives you your bodily identity. This results in your misery and then rebirth. It is said so.
त्याच्यामधून वेगळं आहे पायलन मनापासून तो तुमचा जन्म झाला तो सुद्धा मिथ्या होईल.
Even now, if you see yourself as aloof from the mind, you will see the falsehood of this birth itself. In a dream, a high caste Hindu sees himself as of lower caste. The dream produces wrong understanding, and one considers oneself as of a lower caste. All your problems are because of the identification with the body. You do believe in God, you worship Him, but even for a moment, if you worship, meditate on God, remember what has been said now, all your days' sin will be cleared in no time. Just for a moment like this. My light is so pure, it can recognize the intensity, less or more, of sun and moon. Do it for a moment, at least while going to bed. See yourself as formless, pure and sinless, and go to sleep.
अख्ख्या दिवस घडलेले कायच्या काया लोटावून माहिती होतील.
Thereby, effects of bad action done during the whole day will vanish. But this should be remembered and meditated upon at the right time. This meditation is not on others, but on your own self. This knowledge and meditation is on your own self and not on any guest. Self is also called as Brahman. Your true self, everyone has the right to do it. At least every human being has the right and claim on it, as it is the religion of the self. Don't forget the true religion of your own self. When you follow your true self, all your problems and difficulties will be solved.
ती कोणी निवारण केली?
When you were in the womb, did you not face many calamities? Who helped and solved all these problems? Who protected you and safely took you out? It is the self. So increase your faith in yourself.
स्वतःच्या स्वरूपाचा
Atma is formless, beyond sin and no sin, luminous, and is of its own nature, and is all powerful and united. Live with self-confidence. At least meditate on what you have heard. Meditate on yourself, not on that God. Meditate on yourself. Abiding in ourself is our true religion. Our Guru has told us this. Abiding in the self is to follow our true religion. Following our mind is to have a downfall.
आपल्याला मनाची गरज नाहीये.
The self doesn't need the mind. Hence, abide in yourself.